I honestly thought I was dead wrong about this Timbaland thing. I honestly thought that after the initial backlash for Timbaland's AI artist that he had just abandoned the project, but no, he dropped and there's a lot of controversy and producers are on his ass again. And yes, it's, the regular commentators like Curtis King, Weaver Beats, DJ Payne One, Eden Riley. I don't know who they are, but they have a lot of subscribers. Busyworks Beats is balancing things out because he is now a big supporter of Timbaland and Suno. We know where Fantano stands. And on the one hand, I would love the conversation to expand beyond Timbaland, because criticizing Timbaland, personally insulting Timbaland, isn't going to get us anywhere. I mean, maybe it's a gateway into a broader understanding of what's problematic about generative AI. But on the other hand, he has created this PR nightmare for himself. He is a grown adult. He's a multimillionaire. He's fully capable of defending himself. And it doesn't seem as though he's affected by these critiques. So it is what it is, but not all critiques are necessarily kind. I mean, what JID said about him was kind of mean. But hey, it's not just producers who are upset with Timbaland. It's now a lot of artists, because he is effectively replacing humans and kind of taunting them in a way with some of his previous statements. WAP Dad had something to say about Timbaland too. And there's a lot to unpack about his artist's song, but others have said it a lot better than I believe I can. So I brought it up on the podcast because I do wonder why, as this is happening, as there's this huge backlash on the other side of the AI landscape, you have Xania Monet, who's doing incredibly well and who doesn't seem to be eliciting the same kind of ire and anger from creatives as Timbaland is. All the while, you have folks bootlicking the AI companies and worshiping the billionaires, claiming that they're the ones that are here to liberate art and make it democratic again, even though Bill Gates just recently said something super evil about how they plan on replacing humans and taking everyone's jobs in the future and controlling labor. And Peter Thiel, don't even get me started about him. I'm going to make a separate video about that, this whole human replacement thing. But for now, I wanted to ask my colleagues why they think this conversation feels, not even the conversation, but just the critique. Why is it all on Timbaland and not on these other players? Because, and I've said this before, criticize people for their actions, for their statements. That's all valid. Timbaland is an artist. He's not Bill Gates. He's not Mikey Schulman. And if Timbaland hadn't raised his hand and said, you know what? Yes, I want to represent this whole AI thing, either some other celebrity would have, or these incredibly wealthy oligarchs would have just invented someone. They would have created someone. And that's kind of the conspiracy theory about Xania Monet that was brought up in my last video. So let's jump into it. It's actually my birthday week too, so I'm going to be dropping my newest. I drop one drum kit pretty much every year. I drop a drum kit because they take so long to make. This is a huge multi-kit, over 250 sounds. It's dropping this week, but if you are a higher tier member of the Patreon, then you will be getting that absolutely for free. And if you're just an entry-level member who wants to get access to the Discord where we collab, I'm going to be dropping a free drum kit my birthday week as well. Patreon.com/DJPayne1. I'm going to put the link in the description and in the comments as well. Hope to see you there. All right, let's talk about this.
All right, Payne, let's get into, I believe we're talking about Timbaland again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bigger than Timbaland at this point, because I don't know if you've seen the response to the recent rollout. I was always surprised that because we've talked about her before, and there were a bunch of articles about his AI artist in mainstream publications, but the full-length music video finally dropped. I thought they were going to scrap the project because its initial, I don't know, he didn't really release anything. It was just a preview, and it didn't do very well numbers-wise, which I thought was weird because there was so much press and so much attention on him. I figured at least, 1 million people would hate watch it if they were upset about it, and it ended up being like 7,000 views on Instagram, which seemed low to me. I don't know.
Timbaland seems like one of those weirdos that, like, when they get pushed back, that actually like feeds their ego and they want to do it more. There's a lot of like black conservative cats like that. Like, the more you get on them about like being a Trump fan, the more MAGA hats they buy. Like that's how those cats are. Timbaland's probably a cat like that.
So a lot of people were speculating as to whether or not these were real people in this video is she, she looks real. She doesn't exactly look like the avatar that we were presented with initially. And Timbaland's in the video. This could all be AI, but the Jabberwockies were credited. So are these real people? I think that's another conversation. Then we're getting into some weird and ironic territory, but 8.4 million views on Blackish Press. And this is on Twitter, or X, whatever I'm calling it, Twitter. And then we go to Tata's actual channel and the video only has 60,000. So it's not like a terrible number, but it also, I think this is more of what I was talking about. It was so unpopular on Twitter and garnered all of those views there because people were commenting and engaging and sharing. And, you had people like JID, you have so many people, not just producers upset at Timbaland. You have so many artists that were just coming out as against this, that it gained way more traction. So there's a disparity between damn near 9 million views and 60,000. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. So there is some hate watch potential. But what I want to ask is, Dame, are you familiar with Xania Monet? She's an AI artist, as I believe the first avatar to actually sign a deal. We've heard about artists, AI artists or AI prompters getting deals and stuff. And she's the first AI artist to get signed for a multi-million-dollar deal. We covered that on another episode. Aaron's skeptical that this is all just kind of a marketing move where a couple AI companies got together, specifically Suno, et cetera, and came up with this money, this advance, just to push this artist forward who was already gaining some traction on her own, just to make, that would be amazing viral marketing if
the AI artist was signed, but for clarity, the money went to the prompter.
Yeah, the lyrics author.
The songwriter and the person who created the prompts and the imagery and all that.
I mean, this was the $3 million number that they were throwing out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was super skeptical of that number for sure. But what was the question?
So the question is, there are a lot of questions. My question today is, but I'm starting to come around on Aaron's side that this is a conspiracy. But if we compare the two, if we look at the production quality of what Timbaland put out and the sonic quality and the level of attention that he got leading up to this drop, there's no comparison between that and Xania Monet. But somehow Xania Monet is getting organic traction, no bad press, no huge pushback from music fans or the creative community, and everybody's upset at Timbaland, but they are representing the same companies. And Xania Monet's whole image is just stock AI avatar animation. So at this point, I'm almost feeling like, all right, one is a little more human than the other potentially, especially if Timbaland's artist has real humans in the music videos, but he's getting the biggest pushback, and people are looking at the other artists and saying, oh, congratulations, she got $3 million off that. That's great. It's weird. I don't know what side I'm on. I don't know if I necessarily need to take a side on that, but why do you think that is?
I hadn't seen anybody with the response of like, oh, she got $3 million. That's great. When that story dropped, all I saw was like disappointment and more negative feedback. So I didn't really see too many. Again, it goes to my point where you can find every reaction and opinion on the internet. But in my feed, in my world, I saw more of a backlash to even the $3 million. Everybody was posting like, how's she getting $3 million? I can't even get signed. Like, it was more that energy than like, congratulations, you got, $3 million. So I didn't see that response, Payne.
I'm looking at what the actual artists are posting. So when Timbaland posts about this backlash, when something on the official Xania page. It feels to me like Xania Monet has actual fans. Tata does not.
I don't know. I think Timbaland thought that throwing his weight behind something, people would gravitate towards it in a positive way. When actuality, like the expectations, most people's expectations of somebody like Timbaland would probably be that he would be against signing an AI art because he's been so, a leader in the space, somebody that actually knows music, has made big hits, worked with artists. You would think that he wouldn't usher in something. You wouldn't think that he would be in the front, captaining the ship. I think it's a lot of people's disappointment in how it was rolled out and how he's supporting things. If he would have just been behind the scenes and you didn't, know that he was supporting it, then maybe people would have similar reaction to the what's her name? Something Monet?
Xania Monet.
Xania Monet is the AI artist. It's not the prompter. What's the prompter's name?
The prompter's name is Telisha.
What is it?
Telisha Jones.
Telisha. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is we can't stop this. So, people are going to have to get comfortable. I mean, we'll have to wait and see like how, music lovers might oppose, like people that are truest, purists. But what about the masses? Are the masses going to care?
Yeah, and I think that's the question here. Why is one popular over the other one? One sounds better. Is it?
Which one sounds better to you? I don't know. I haven't listened to
Timbaland sounds better.
Again, I think it just goes back to what our expectations were and our thoughts of Timbaland before he started being, the poster boy for Suno. I think that's all it is. I mean, I think he could have done, even if he wanted to be involved like this, he could have rolled it out in a much better way, saying things like today's music doesn't have any soul, whatever the fuck he said, like obviously didn't get people on his side. He could have embraced it in a totally different way. And I think it would have been more palatable to folks and maybe people even embracing him for, being on the leading edge. But it almost came out like he was bashing like actual artists, saying like, people can't make music anymore, so he has to like use this AI generated artist because he can't find any other artist to work with. That's what it seemed like.
He could have hidden the fact that it was AI, maybe just announced it as a new artist and then revealed it after the fact.
Yeah. I mean, I think that to your point, Payne, I don't think that it really actually makes sense because it's like, as much as people are upset with Timbaland, I don't think if it was just put out, that they would know. Like, I don't think it's been put out big enough to where people are reacting so staunchly to Timbaland that it's requiring them to not listen to Tata. Whereas the same with Telisha versus, whatever Monet, like the comments that we had brought up in the conversation a couple weeks ago or last week were kind of like, oh, I really like this song or whatever. It was like people were like, it's good enough. It's fine enough. I can rock with this. So again, I don't think that people are like, oh, I'm not listening to Tata because it's Timbaland. I think it's reached a mass scale with the other artists. And I think that that's due to marketing dollars being put into it and her being seated in different places. Whereas it seems like Timbaland's artists, the seating just started. So that's why you see it at this one place where it's got millions of views on X or Twitter, but on her actual page only has 60,000 or whatever views. So I think it's more about the marketing approach now too. I don't believe that it's enough people who are like, it's not like millions of people boycotting Timbaland to not listen. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that the rollout was just done terribly because I didn't even know that they dropped. Not that I would be paying attention because I'm not watching either of them, but I didn't even know that Timbaland had dropped a song or a music video. And Jabberwockies, very dated. Shout out to Jabberwockies. I think you're great. But what? Like, that's a, like, that was so random when we just watched that. I think they're great dancers. This is no shade. And I'm sure in the dance world, they're still massive, but like, populist culture, like who are you going after? You're not going after Gen Z. You're not going after Gen Alpha, and millennials are already off of Timbaland. So like I'm not exactly sure, and I don't think that I don't know. I haven't listened. Does she have a throwback sound? Like I don't understand why you put Jabba.
No, it's new sounding. I mean, I think you're onto something also because there's this element of just relatability. Whereas, and I think we covered that in the last episodes, Xania Monet's writing songs about heartbreak and human topics, whereas Tata is coming out the gate as a pop star on her first song. And a lot of people were dissecting the lyrics, and there were lines like, I came from nothing, and people are like, you're not even real. What, you didn't come from anything. You
actually came from nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Or actually, it's the amalgamation of all of us. So you came from a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. That's more accurate. But also, I wonder if, just to add to the conspiracy, because here's the conspiracy theory, Dame, that maybe, I don't know if Xania Monet started gaining traction organically because people like the music. Clearly, people like the music. But then they manufactured this deal as an amazing marketing ploy to get more people excited about Suno, because inevitably people are going to find out that AI was behind creating this Xania Monet artist. And Aaron's thought is that maybe even the artist herself doesn't realize this, but AI companies certainly have a ton of VCs, so why couldn't they put this deal together? $3 million deal doesn't necessarily mean they handed her $3 million in a suitcase. It means, $1 million up front, marketing budget, album options, etc. So we don't really know. But what I was also hearing, and people were upset at me for saying this, because I was saying I was hearing when I got on a live stream with Jane Lee, and Jane Lee was saying that that she had a conversation with Suno, and they said they were disappointed with how the Timbaland partnership was going. And other people had expressed that to me. All I said was many other people in the music industry expressed that to me, but they didn't want me to talk about it. So now that Jane is saying it, I can say, okay, I've heard this opinion before from trustworthy people. So I wonder if, adding to that conspiracy, they saw, Timbaland's initial involvement in Suno was instrumental to their success. They needed him. But when things went left because he just couldn't handle the PR very well, then they find this other artist, and it's this organic, ground up story where where people actually like the music to begin with. So now they're leading with that. They're going to respect that come up more. And so now they're putting some money behind that to amplify that story. I mean, if this is all by accident, cool. But if it's a conspiracy and they coordinated all of this, then they did an amazing job. They're saving themselves right now with Xania Monet, because their previous efforts were... They weren't getting the outcomes they wanted.
Well, I'm on her Spotify. She's doing well. I mean, it's got, a million monthly listeners, looks like.
Really well.
So I guess, unless, Spotify has a hand in promoting this,
they could.
Timbaland easily could have taken a more balanced approach and introduced it to his audience like, hey, AI is new. It's a tool. I feel like I can use it to take I can use it in addition to what I normally do to take my sound and capabilities to the next level. Let's figure out how we merge both the human artistic ability with AI. Like, that would have been way more digestible to folks, but he came out like bashing like human artists.
Yeah.
So it was just a dumb approach to take, in my opinion.
And to add to the conspiracy, we have this update, and we knew this was coming. So to The reason I bring this up, Dame, is because you said, well, maybe Spotify has something to do with it. Well, Spotify had a licensing deal with these labels, and now the labels are negotiating a licensing deal with Suno. So it's going to be the same type of deal.
I
And
just feel like this is proof of what I was saying. Like, it just seems like they worked a deal together. Again, whether Xania knew or not, or Telisha knew or not, it's like, okay, something is consistent because she had been releasing a lot of songs. It's garnering some attention. All they have to do is just do a back end scrub of the metrics, and then they offer her a deal, or not, let me not put it in quotes. They offer her a deal. Now it's like organically, that's what I'll put in quotes. This artist is growing on our platform, got signed to this $3 million deal. But it's like Suno could have just been like, hey, UMG, let's make this happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, like you said, they're VC backed, so they have money for marketing. This is great marketing. And now they get their PR teams on it. They get something behind it. Whereas before, tech bros aren't looking at Timbaland and knowing he's going to be a goofball. They're just like, we have one of the biggest producers in the history of the world. And then he's a goofball. So like you said, they go in a different direction. And this is like a counterpoint. So now they're like, Black women, you know, they love marketing to us and love using us for marketing. Black women, look, one of your own got this incredible record deal, $3 million. I just feel like it seems too obvious because for the numbers, even at 1 million monthly listeners, which is right now, she was not there even a couple weeks ago, Dave. Yeah. And this is post getting signed. So of course, there's all this attention now being generated to go check her out. But even at 1 million monthly listeners, I'm not seeing people being offered $3 million record deals and publishing deals. And then, cause that's not necessarily a consistent thing. That's just like a pop. And if we're looking at the metrics and the numbers, 1 million monthly listeners is not going to recoup that in a long time. You don't get to do the appearances. You don't get to do the tours. So what are you really recouping your money off of? Do you know what I'm saying? So like my thought process now is like merchandise for an AI artist. I'm wondering what that's going to look like. That's going to be extremely interesting when we dive into like that world. But I just feel like them making this announcement so shortly after this big pop, like to me, it lines up too much to be like, this doesn't even make sense. It's like, it looks exactly like what it is. It's marketing. Like we signed somebody to market our new service. Now we're going to play ball with the majors. Let's make this a more succinct playing field. So we're going to announce an artist before we announce our merger.
I think you would be surprised how quick you can recoup that. I mean, it's an AI artist. They can drop 50 songs a day. And if it, you know, if the algorithm is giving it some favor, you know, it's possible that it won't take that long to recoup, you know, 3 million just because of the output. I mean, I think at the end of the day, people need to look at this and figure out like what their approach is going to be, right? If you're a producer, you have a golden opportunity at this point. You don't have to wait around for people to make music to your songs or to your beats. Like you can put stuff out. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to come back to community building, storytelling. How are you going to use AI in your favor?